Canadian Legion. Today we have with us Charlie Maheu. Charlie, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure having you here. Charlie, we start off by asking you where you were born and what your parents and grandparents do for a living.
I was born in Perkinsfield. I guess you know what that is. And my father was born there. My grandfather was born in Quebec, well, on the east side of Quebec City.
Oh.
We brought him over here when he was 1 year old. And then he finally turned out to be a farmer. And when I was 8 years old, when I moved with him, I liked my grandfather. He only had my father as the only child.
So your father was the only child in the family?
That's right.
Yeah.
So I was raised there at my grandfather's place. And my mother and father, they had altogether 13 children.
Oh boy, they kind of made up for it, did they?
Right, yeah. And I always did like farming.
Yeah.
And I didn't bother going too much to school, so I didn't have much education.
Where, did you go to school in Perkinsfield?
The Face Corner, it was near Perkinsfield.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
How far did you have to go to school?
Well, I walked about a mile.
About a mile, eh?
Yeah.
And what grade did you get to?
Well, I was going to be done my grade 6, but I quit before it.
You quit before it.
Yeah.
About how old were you then?
13.
You were 13 years
Yeah.
old. So you could quit school at 13 and get away with it?
In those days, that's right.
That was okay then,
Yeah.
was it? And you went farming?
Well, I stayed with my granddad and kept on working on the farm.
Uh-huh.
Then when I married, of course, they were gone then by grandfather and grandmother.
Yeah.
So I quit the farm there.
Mm-hmm.
I was too young to.
Well, what did your father do for a living?
I'd been working in different places, Ontario Hospital, Christian Island.
What about Christian Island? Did you go to Christian Island with your father or not?
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
That
What was it like over there in Christian Island?
Well, in those days, I was pretty young, but I was only 6 years old when I left there, so I didn't know too much about it.
Uh-huh.
But I remember the store where my dad was working. I'd fill the 10-pound potato bags.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't weigh them, but I'd put potatoes in them.
You were filling the bags for him,
Right, yeah.
helping out in the store.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, well, too much after that, I don't too much remember.
Yeah.
Except going to the water when mother would clean us and swimming and everything.
Uh-huh.
And then, well, from there, moved back to Penetang.
Oh, your family moved back to Penetang then?
Well, not really Penetang. It's that military establishment.
Oh, yeah?
And there was a big double home there. We had one end of it.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was working on the farm there, driving team.
Oh, he was, what, driving a team of horses?
That's right.
What would he do there? Like, what would he haul? Or
Well, it was doing farm work,
Yeah?
lots of plowing and all kinds of stuff. In the wintertime, bring the coal from the dock up to the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
And I started school up on the lines there.
Uh-huh.
And I
Did you go
remember,
with him when he hauled the coal?
After school, I'd like to sit down there, and one of the patients would hang on to me and come to the barn. We had that old patient. He enjoyed being with me,
Yeah?
or I enjoyed being with him too.
Yeah?
He'd hang on to me, and he took care of me very well.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And he was one of the patients at the hospital,
Oh, yes,
right?
but he was a nice fellow.
Yeah?
Like a working patient, eh?
Oh, yeah.
They had some guys that enjoyed working.
They
did
would
good.
help out
Yeah.
to run the hospital or help do different jobs. eh?
Right, milking cows and bringing the milk to the kitchen.
Oh, that was when they still had their farm there at
Oh, yes. Yeah.
the mental hospital.
Yeah.
And so the patients
They
would
were
work
working.
on the farm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Doing garden and everything.
Uh-huh.
Oh, they were nice people.
Yeah? And your father worked there as
For
well?
a few years, yeah.
Yeah? And then where did you go from there?
Penetang, well, in those days, if you were a liberal, I guess maybe my dad was liberal, and when it changed to a conservative, they'd fire everybody, put their own people in.
Yeah, in those days they used to do that, didn't
That's
they?
right, yeah.
If you were one party and you went out, why, you lost your job,
That's right, and then had to go and look for another job.
So what did your dad do then?
Well, we went back with my grandfather doing farming for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And then there, well, it was in the, what do you call them, in the 30s when the
Oh, the Depression time.
Depression time. But there was work in Port Nichols at the freight sheds there.
Oh, yeah.
Them boats hauling from Port Nichols to Port Arthur.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So he went working over there.
What would they haul from Port Nickel to Port Arthur?
They were hauling freight in the bottom of the boat. They had 5 of them big boats.
Yeah?
And then on the top was passengers.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
And this morning on the radio, there's still 2 of them big passenger boats. And they're out in the...
Well, we got a picture of
around Detroit.
a boat here. But what is this one that we're showing?
I wheeled on that one and hauling pulpwood from Slate's Island to Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Is that right?
And I worked 4 years with them.
Uh-huh.
2 years on barges and 2 years on tugs.
So you were a wheelman?
I was wheelman.
Yeah.
And then I quit, got married, and the captain says, get married and come back on the boat and bring your wife as a cook or second cook.
Did you?
No, after I got married, we didn't bother going. I didn't bother sailing anymore.
You didn't bring your wife back on the boat?
No.
No? Or did she didn't maybe didn't want to go, did she? Who have we got here? We got another picture here. This is Albert Duma.
This is an old relation to my mother, and he also related to my wife's side.
Is that right?
Right.
So it
And they used to live on Robert Street West.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I didn't know that one, but I know some of the younger lads.
Mm-hmm. But he was related to your wife's
And my mother.
and your mother too.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Okay. Now we also have another picture here with a lot of ladies in it. What's this all about? This picture. Maybe somebody will know some of these ladies. Do you know any of them at all?
When my wife named them, I didn't look to see which one it was, but that was in her class. And I guess it was in the cold weather. They got all
dressed up for the
right
winter.
For the winter, yeah.
Well,
Was in,
what?
La Fontaine School.
At La Fontaine School. Yeah. And what was your wife's name?
Brunel.
Burnell.
Yeah.
What was her first name?
Cecile.
Cecile Burnell.
Right.
Hey. So this is sort of her class picture, right?
Right, yeah.
Maybe somebody will recognize some of these people. I'm sure I don't know any of them, but...
No. Well, really, like that, I wouldn't remember them anyway.
Well, tell me something. Where did you meet your wife?
She had a sister in our concession that was married to a Moro,
Oh, yeah.
and she used to come there.
Uh-huh.
She was 12 years younger than her sister, but when she grew up a bit, she'd go to see her sister.
Yeah.
And that was only about a mile down, and I thought it was a nice girl. I started to look around to see her, and I got in, finally got acquainted, and well, when I was sailing, I didn't bother going to see her then, but I'd go in the winter time.
Yeah.
So we stayed together off and on like that for 7 years, then we got married.
Tell me, where did you first propose to her?
Oh, to get married?
Yeah. Where did you first ask her to get married?
Well, one day we took a ride around Cedar Point, nice on a spring day, and finally I said, you know what, it's been going out a long time, so are we going to get married? Yeah, she said, what about the 9th of June? Oh,
Just
gee,
like that?
Yeah. So I thought then maybe she was figuring I was going to have sometime. So I said, okay, that made the deal.
You made the deal there.
Right, yeah.
Did you have to ask your parents for permission?
Well, after that, yeah. I know this, of course, it's maybe today also, but anyway, I went and told her dad, well, we're talking about getting married. Oh, I guess that's fine, so you've been going out for quite a while.
So he thought it was okay.
Right.
Right. So where would you go when you were courting your wife? Where would you where would you go for entertainment?
Not too much. I'd go once, only on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
The odd time later, maybe after a couple of years, in the summertime, if I wasn't sailing, there was another friend had a girl friend of mine had a girlfriend next door to my wife,
Oh, yeah.
and we'd go on Thursday night too,
Yeah.
visit them. And when one day he'd take his car, the next day I'd take mine. So finally, with time, he got married, and later on, we got married.
All right. What kind of a car did you have?
Well,
Your first car, what was it?
Model T Ford,
Model T.
a little rumble seat car.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, with the rumble seat in
Right.
it.
And I paid a big price, $25 for it. It was a second-hand car.
$25 to buy this car.
Right, yeah.
Now, were the clutches good in it?
Oh, yes, everything was working good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did it have, let's see, those things that would buzz? What do they call them? The little boxes.
Oh, the coils or
Coils.
something like
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah. It had
Had
coils, did it?
Had the little 4 coils together there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One for each cylinder,
Yeah.
and
right.
it would buzz every time the spark would have to come on.
And you had to crank it to start it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No starter.
No starter.
Either that or push it down a hill.
Yeah. Right. In those days, you could push it down. Yeah.
Yeah, it had 3 pedals too, didn't it?
No, there was only 2. The brake on the right and the left one, halfway down was like
Low gear.
a low gear, and then right down was no, the right down was the low gear.
Right.
Halfway was just neutral.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you had a lever on the left-hand side. You had to shove it down for
Yes,
high gear
yeah.
or something, if I remember.
Well, maybe some of them, but I don't remember about that lever on that much.
You have a spark and a
Oh, yeah,
gas
it was-
lever.
That was on the wheels.
Yeah.
all-
Your gas lever was
Yeah.
on the wheel. You worked it up there.
That's right.
No, no foot pedal for the gas.
No. And you had for the wiper, you had to run it by hand.
Oh yes, you just have to.
Right.
It had a lever on the inside of the windshield, didn't
Yeah,
it?
That's right.
Yeah. Didn't want to go too much in the rain.
No.
Did you have side curtains on it
I don't.
or windows?
Just no, that nothing.
Nothing
just
at all.
the top.
Not even just the top.
Yeah.
Was it a cloth
You
top?
you could send the top down now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it was cloth.
Right.
Yeah. But no side curtains.
No,
So if the wind was blowing from the side, you got wet.
that's right.
You know, people don't realize what it was like back then to,
No,
you know.
that-
How about tires? Do you ever get a flat tire?
Oh, often.
Yeah.
Lots of flat tires. Yeah.
So what would you do when you got a flat tire?
Well, you had to have your own pump and pump it up.
Well,
And,
you'd have to take it off and patch it, eh?
If it was a hole, you'd patch it. And of course, there's a lot of tubes that they weren't so good. I guess something wrong.
Yeah.
Another flat I've seen having 7 flats in the same day.
Where would you go that you'd have 7 flats? How far would you?
Oh, you travel for all Sunday,
Yeah.
like all Sunday afternoon with friends and having fun going here and there.
And it was fun patching the tire too, because everybody would stop. And
Oh, yeah.
sometimes they'd bring picnic food and have a picnic lunch while you were patching the tire.
Well, we had a lot of that, and others would have their own cars too.
Yeah.
And on the nice days, we'd go down the beach. There was hardly any tourists then.
Oh yeah.
So go down for a swim and meet the other friends and everything. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
Good old days, like they say.
Yeah. Well, listen, we got some pictures here. I think this is Bill Holland, eh?
Yeah.
What is this?
Fun.
7,000 feet up. What does that mean?
We had to climb the mountain. We didn't climb it. Went up. They brought 50 persons, and it's like on the railroad track.
Oh,
going up the hill.
Yeah.
And halfway up, we'd meet the other one empty coming down.
Oh yeah.
And after we were up there, we had pushed that snow. That's why there's a pile of snow there.
Yeah.
And this was in June, late June.
Where is this taken?
The name of the town I forget, but it was in New Zealand anyway.
In New Zealand.
Yeah,
So you made a trip to New Zealand?
yeah.
I understand you've been in a lot of different countries, eh?
7
Well,
countries.
Here's another picture of that snowbank too.
Yeah,
we'll
well,
just show this one here too.
That's Bill. Bill Holland himself there, eh?
Right.
With my wife. I took the picture there.
You took the picture of
Yeah.
the two of
It's
them.
at the same place as the other one,
Mhm.
up in that
Right.
mountain.
Now, this was in New Zealand. You say you've been in 7 countries. What countries did you go to?
Holland, New Zealand, the second there. My memory is a little
Okay,
short.
we'll take
but,
your time with it.
yeah.
I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll show another picture while you're just thinking about that. What's this picture all about?
That one is a windmill that was pumping the water from the well to send it to the barn and to the house.
And this was on your farm?
On the farm, I had 50-acre farm
Oh, yeah.
on the 17th concession of Tiny Township.
Uh-huh. And you say you used to climb up to the top of this?
Well, I've seen the spring break that would hold that pedal up there, right?
Right.
And I'd have to renew that. And then every year I'd go and put new oil in it. Up there was an oil box.
Oh, yeah. You'd have to...
And I'd go up every year for that.
What would it take? About a gallon of oil in that box?
Well, roughly maybe something like that.
Yeah.
It was a heavy oil.
Oh, you used like transmission oil or not transmission, but
well,
rear end oil.
Gear oil, yeah.
Gear oil.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So every now and then I had to get up there.
Yeah. Well, they were quite a thing, those.
Apparently it was over 45 feet high,
Yeah.
that thing. Yeah.
Is that right?
There was a little ladder going up the side there.
Mm-hmm. You used to climb up there.
Yeah.
Did that, with the wind, did it ever break, or would you shut it off when you
There was a cable coming down, and at the bottom there was a handle there, and you turn that handle to turn it towards the wind.
So it would,
And it
when
would-
you pull it down, it would turn it crossways to the
Yeah,
wind.
and then the wheel wouldn't turn then.
Right.
Yeah.
But otherwise, they'd really go. Now, you were also in the service, weren't you?
Yeah.
When was that? When did you join up?
Well, married in 42, and I was called at, I think, the fall of 43.
So you were called up under the conscription.
And I was in Toronto all winter, and then in the spring transferred to Peterborough,
Mm-hmm.
and took my basic there. But I had applied for farm leave, and then after my basic was done, they told me that my farm leave had came through, so I'm back on the farm.
Oh, so you were able to get back out and go back to the farm.
Yeah, and of course, if something would have happened seriously, I'd have had to go back. They'd have called me.
Yeah.
But I wasn't called until the war broke out.
Yeah.
And then I had to go and bring my uniforms back up.
Oh, yeah. Did they still fit?
Yeah. But I used one of them. I had 2 sets of working clothes
Oh, yeah.
and or marching clothes or whatever. And of course I used one up, and then I was allowed to keep one, so I kept the best one. And the dress suit, that's the one there. I couldn't keep that one.
You had to turn it back in.
That's right.
Yeah. When was that? In 45 or?
That was after, during 45, after the war broke out. It
Yeah.
was ended.
After the war
Yeah.
ended.
That's right.
Uh-huh. Now, we have another picture here, and who do we have on this one?
That's my oldest daughter. She graduated in grade 12 in the Fountain. That's the hat she had there.
What's her name?
Louise
Maheu.
Maheu, yeah.
Yeah, and where is she living now?
At Nestleton.
Oh, yeah. Is she married now?
No,
No?
she went as, she got educated to a graduated nurse,
Oh, yeah.
and she worked in James Bay District for 22 years.
Did she?